welcome everybody to World of Tanks subscriber replays. My name is Maxwell and today's first video is from the user UKZ Knight. That is UK Knight, and he's driving the Leopard 1 on a standard battle on Sand River. Leopard 1 being a tier 10 medium tank for the Germans, platooned up with his platoon mate there, and the STB-1, also a tier 10 medium tank. So straight away, going to be heading over to where the medium tanks go, which is on the right-hand flank. Going to be heading up to the mountainous region here. Leopard 1, as you can see, has great speed. He was getting up to 60 kilometers an hour on the flatter area there. That's just thanks to this thing having pretty thin armor and a pretty damn good engine. So very quick off the mark, good speed, good agility, decent cannon. Let's take a quick look at the cannon there. 268 mils of penetration, 390 alpha damage with a pretty quick reload. For some reason my Jimbo's crosshair mode is playing up a little bit, so it's not showing the reload speeds, but off the top of my head I think it's about between 7.5 and 8.5 seconds per reload. So able to lay out a good amount of sustained DPM or damage per minute. Not encountered any enemy tanks just yet. I think the enemy team was probably a little bit smart about this. Took a quick look at the composition of the allied team and saw how many high-tiered medium tanks that they had. They've got the Batchat 25-ton, the Leopard 1 STB-1 there, and just decided that they weren't probably going to be able to take this hill from them, so just decided to play this one a little bit slower and a little bit more careful. As you can see, there is an E50 moving up now, and a few people trying to position behind those dunes. UK Knight gets himself spotted, so just drops back. Doesn't want to take a hit from that Object 261, because that is going to wreck somebody's day. Even with 1,950 hit points, that is no deterrent whatsoever to an artillery shell. So this replay is a little bit slow to get started, but it does heat up very, very soon indeed. You can see the enemy Batchat trying to claim and climb the opposite hill there. He doesn't make the ascent all the way to the top though. UK Knight showing good map awareness here. Sees that his E100 is in serious trouble there. Been flanked around by that E75, T69 and T62A. Looks like the E75 is on the other side of that sand dune there, but the T69 and T62A are not. UK Knight going to come in and try and help him out. Gets a good hit on the T62A there. T69 not going to have much luck penetrating him, even from the sides and rear. And as you can see, the 100 takes out the T62A. The T69 starts making a run for it. Can he get a good enough roll? Indeed he can. Takes out the T69, and that is kill number 1. So just showing good map awareness there to come back and offer some support to the 100, or else he was almost certainly going to get taken out there. And that E75 gets himself taken out. Not very many people camping at the base for the allied team, which is what you normally see. You normally see tank destroyers arrayed across that ridge there, with the amount of heavy tanks and medium tanks that went north to the ridge line in the mountain region here. Probably a good idea that they didn't camp there, as the allied team's probably going to push far too far forward for them to be able to get any kind of effective shots on anyone. Unfortunately, the downside to that means that E100 got caught out in the middle of the open there by 2 medium tanks. He didn't have any support. Luckily, his medium tanks were aware of the situation and came back to help him. So UK Knight going to be transitioning to the center of the map to overlook the bottom of the map here, trying to get some hits on somebody there. Looks like the enemy team has absolutely steamrolled the allies here. Unfortunately for them, gets one good hit onto an IS-3, gets a second good hit. Only got, who have they got there? Can't even make him out. It's an E75. Everybody's just streaming past him here, nobody really bothering to stop to take him out. Finally he does fall, but not before he didn't slow down the enemy whatsoever. Luckily, UK Knight gets a good hit on that other IS-3 to take him out. Going to try and focus on this, the first one that he was shooting at. Gets another good hit. Actually, that looks like... Yep, there we go. Gets another good hit onto the IS-3. Sorry, I just confused myself there. Takes him out, and that's kill number 4. Now going to be focusing on this T69. Just got to wait for that reload, and there we go, kill number 5. So the kills flying in thick and fast here. Does take a hit in the rear from the Centurion 7-1, but decides that he does want to get a hit onto the T110E5. Unfortunately, didn't quite land that one. Now he's going to have to duel with this Centurion 7-1. And you know from previous replays how tough these Centurions can be. Although he does have some support in the form of that Batchat 25-ton who was steaming in from the rear. Because the Leopard 1 doesn't have very good armor whatsoever. Going to try and get a shot through the side of his armor. Centurion 7-1 tried to make a run for it, but the Batchat just denied him that opportunity, took him out. And UK Knight gets away without losing too many of his hit points there. Luckily, the attack lemming train that came from the south were too busy focusing on the guys in front of them, and that allowed UK Knight to get shots through their side armor all day long. Gets a great hit onto the M103, destroys him. Now he's going to have to set up in a position to try and hit these guys as they make a pass between the two hills here. Going to try and get a shot on this ST1, but it looks like he just fades back into the fog of war just in time to be safe. Now these guys are going to have to push over the top to go and assault that Leopard PT in. That's going to allow UK Knight to get a hit on some of them. Was looking towards that T57 Heavy, but he's just dropped back into the fog of war, so not going to be able to get a chance to hit him. Here we go. Going to have to pick his shots and his targets well. Decides to go for the T110E5. Waits till he's out in the middle of the field just to dissuade him from backing off. Might be able to get a second shot here, but it looks like the T110E5 is moving quick. Rushes that shot there. Probably should have held that one, but the adrenaline probably is going pretty quickly, because he needs to get these guys damaged as quickly as possible, as that Leopard PTA isn't going to be able to stand up to them for very long whatsoever. Looks like he is backing off now. Probably going to drop down into a ditch just to force the enemy to come way out for him. Leopard PT, I think, knows that he's got a little bit of support, but not too much. Gets one good hit on the T110. And now he's going to have to try and take him out. T110 has spotted him, but it is to no avail as he doesn't have the reload. And UK Knight takes him out for kill number 7. That just leaves this T57 Heavy that was last spotted in the south of the map. And this ST1, who I'm not sure if he's going to try and follow his teammate out there into the open. Looks like he has backed off instead. But frontally, these ST1s are pretty damn difficult to damage. So you can see here UK Knight just switching up to the heat rounds, because he's going to have to try and take on this guy one-on-one. Gets a great shot through his front armor. Knows that he's got the reload on the ST1, so he can just sit here, take his time, pick his shot, which indeed he does. Takes him out. Kill number 8 and a well-deserved Radley Walters medal. So absolutely awesome replay there from UKZ Knight, picking himself up almost 6,500 points of damage and 8 kills. So thank you very much for sending that replay in. Don't forget, guys, to stick around, because as always, the score screens and another game are coming right up. And our second replay is from the user DOTX. That's DOTX, probably just going to call him Dot for short. And he's driving the FV4202 on a standard battle on the Hidden Village. FV4202 is the tier 10 medium tank for the British. He gets a lot of stick for being a fairly average tier 10 tank. And to be honest, I tend to agree, but then again, you do get people who are able to make magic happen even in average tanks, which is what we're about to see. So this game, XVM doesn't think the Allied team has very much of a chance, and the enemy team does have some very well-skilled platoons over there. So this one is going to be interesting, to say the least. Dot going to be taking up a position here beside the Foch 155. Unfortunately, he backs off just as that 1375 comes into view. Probably could have gotten a hit onto him. It looks like the 1375 is dropping down that hill there. Surprised that he didn't smash his tank and tracks to pieces on that one. Looks like the Allied 1375 getting some early spots on people. Does fire off a quick shot there. Unfortunately, that one just about misses. Not able to land any damage. Going to be moving up to support his platoon mate. Where the IS-7 is going is a very strong positions for IS-7s, just thanks to it being able to go hull down between those rocks. IS-7's turret is almost indestructible unless you get an FV4202 smashing it in the face with a Hess shell, then its turret isn't almost indestructible because you don't even need to penetrate to do tons of damage with that thing. T-57 Heavy poking through to try and get a shot on the IS-7, but loses a huge amount of hit points doing so. Probably not worth it whatsoever. Looks like he isn't backing off either. Still wants to hang around here and try and get a little bit of damage done. I think he seems to be throwing his life away unnecessarily, although Dot's platoon mate in the IS-7 has lost a huge amount of hit points there. T-34 having a shot. Dot just firing one off. He's able to sneak that one just underneath the turret before the T-34 was able to get fully hulled down and gets a good chunk of damage. He's going to get one shot on the 183 here. Made it count. Looked like you can see that he was trying to go for the track there. Unfortunately, that one just hit full on the body. Going to have one more shot at the turret. Unfortunately, that one just skims right over its roof and doesn't do any damage at all. We've got a Leopard coming to take up position where the IS-7 was. He's not going to have very good luck. But as you can see, he's not pushing up very far until I went and said that. And then he does start pushing up way too far. He needs to pretty much just stay down the hill where he was. Looks like there's a lot of tank destroyers in this area. In fact, are those three 183s all in the platoon together? They are not. Two of them are, but one of them isn't. Dot comes around and rushes a shot on that 183 as he's making a run for it. Just about misses that one. Luckily for him, he doesn't have that long of a reload time, so he can just have those speculative shots. Looks like everybody from both teams is abandoning the rocks now, not wanting to duel it out around that area, and you can understand why. Doc was thinking about making a risky move across the open field there, but that is just inviting these 183s to put fully damaging shots right through his side armor. Dot is going back now to transition to the middle of the map to try and overlook the village. For some reason, the enemy team has pushed a lot of armor through the village there. You can see an M103, a Lorraine 42, and a T110E5, and who else is that? Can't quite make it out. It looks like it might be a T30. See the VK making a run for it. Doc gets a great shot on him. This Foch 155's dropped all the way back here. Doesn't look like he wants to take anybody on whatsoever. Just rushed a shot a little bit there on the VK and hit the rocks. I think this Foch, I don't think the Foch is spotted. I think someone was just maybe trying to have a shot at Dot there and just hit the Foch because he was in the way. Trying to back off from this 183. The 183 rushes his shot and misses, which is great news for Dot as he's able to push a little bit further forward there. The second 183 fires as well and also misses. All three 183s still alive here, so three of those will be able to delete any tank from the map pretty much instantly. Got to be careful because we don't know where that guy's looking, whether he's looking in this direction or if he's trying to get a shot on the IS-7. Dot now going to be moving back down. This Foch 155 playing it very cagey. Set up in a position so that he can shoot anybody who makes a move over the river there, but doesn't want to take any damage himself. Dot gets a great hit on the VK02 there. Do a little bit more damage. Pokes himself out. Can he get one more? He can indeed. A little bit of a low roll there, but it's not too bad for his gun. Gonna wait till he's almost reloaded, but luckily the mouse takes out the VK. And this game is fairly even considering how good the enemy team was. Looks like all of the good players getting themselves eliminated, maybe playing a little bit too cocky here, thinking that this one is a foregone conclusion before the battle's even started. Calling out an SOS there from the Leopard. Dot just going to be moving up, trying to get some eyes on somebody here. Jagdpanzer E100 making a move for it across the field. Looks like there's nobody really guarding the field, or else that Jagdpanzer E100 would have taken some damage. Can see this FV now. He was focused on the Jagdpanzer, but the Jagdpanzer takes him out. Oh, almost takes a hit from this 183 here. He's got to get into cover as quickly as possible, trying to keep the hill between himself and that 183. The 183 just decides, sod it, and goes for the Leopard instead. And gets 1,200 points of damage onto him to remove him from the game. Two platoon mates here in the IS-7 and the FV going to be trying to come around, trying to get some shots on this 183. Jagdpanzer E100 comes around. He gets deleted as well. An awesome shot there. That must have been on a very good weak spot to do that much damage to a Jagdpanzer E100. But Dot just says, well, If that's your shot, then this is mine, and I'll remove you as well. Takes a massive, massive hit in the face from that 183, just fully YOLOing and doing 1,700 points of damage. That is ridiculous. Cannot wait for that FV183 nerf, to be honest, as he just fully YOLOs over the top of the hill, does 1,700 damage, smashes a lot of systems in the meantime as well with that shot. Luckily, Dot's got a large repair kit on that one, so just hits that button and fixes everything right up, including his ammo rack. Gets a great shot onto that Lorraine 40-ton to remove him as well. Fight still going fairly evenly, which is a surprise. All these guys who steamrolled through the town at the bottom there still haven't really done anything, only really showing their faces now. To be honest, if they'd pushed home their advantage a lot sooner, they probably could have had this one all sewn up. Trying to hit the weak spot of this E5, but it's not proving to be easy. But yeah, if these guys in the village in the south here had pushed home their advantage a little bit earlier, this one would have been over about 3 or 4 minutes ago, because to be honest, they had nobody really covering this flank apart from the Foch 155.
We didn't even scratch
Did get a good bit of tracking onto the E5 as well as damage, but he just uses repair kit and falls right back behind this building. So Dot's just going to remove that cover, and everybody's going to be able to get a shot on this guy now. I don't think he's been spotted out now, because this E5 isn't returning fire. And Dot's just putting shot after shot through his sidearm. He's got 3 good hits now for 1,100 points of damage. He's going to have a shot into the fog of war where he thinks he's going to be, and that is indeed where he is. And that is kill number 4. Although they are winning this one by 2 kills, this one is almost certainly not over yet. You can see the havoc that the tank destroyers wrought on this game. The FV's picking up 5 kills between them, but only the average players are left on the enemy team now. So hopefully they can press home their advantage. You can see there's still that M103 and still that T30 in the village at the south there. So why I was confused why so many tanks went that direction. As you can see, they totally steamrolled the village. Won that one very, very quickly and very, very handily, but they didn't press home their advantage, and it's bought them absolutely nothing whatsoever, because now it is only those 2 and the Batchat artillery left. Dot dropping back, doesn't want to take a hit from that artillery, as he does only have 189 hit points himself. Going to be moving around. I was thinking about going to get a shot on that M103, but could see he only had a small amount of hit points, and his platoon mate probably called out over TeamSpeak that he had that one in the bag. There's only this T30 and the Batchat artillery left. To be honest, if that T30 has some brains, he's going to be dropping back towards his own base, maybe try and do some defense. Got 2 tanks left on the field, and Dot only needs 1 kill to get himself a well-deserved Top Gun medal, so going to see if he can pull this one out of the bag. T110E4 going towards the base cap circle now. Does find the Batchat artillery, and the Batchat artillery just removes him from the game. And you can see the Batchat is tucked into that little cubby hole there, which means people are going to have to come all the way around the corner to try and get him. This one is going to be fairly difficult. Does have to be aware of the T30 from the right-hand side. You can see there appearing on the other side of that hill, but Dot just decides to leave him to the mouse. Pokes himself over the hill. Gets a great shot on the Batchat 15555. All of the 5s. Takes him out. Picks up kill number 6 and a well-deserved Top Gun medal. Mouse is about to come at the T30 from the rear. Hopefully that'll distract the T30 long enough that Dot can get some shots onto him as well. Decides to come around the right-hand side of the hill here. And that T30 is still moving, so I'm not really sure if Dot's actually going to be able to get anything on him. Probably should have stayed in the position that he was rather than coming around this hill here. So as it is, he's going to attack him from the rear, which is where his gun is facing, and put himself at risk of being destroyed with only 189 hit points left. And there we go, we can see the T30 fires, so he sneaks one through the commander's hatch. And this T30 is taking sustained fire from all directions. He's going to have the reload on this one. He gets the shot, gets the kill. And that is kill number 7 and almost 6,000. Well, actually, it will be over 6,000 points of damage, as he did have that shot at the T110E5 in the fog of war. So absolutely awesome replay there from DOTX, showing his skills in the FV4202 there, picking himself up 7 kills and over 6,000 points of damage. So don't forget, guys, if you've got yourself a great replay, please send that into replay@screenreality.com. The link for that is down in the description. Either attach the replay file itself to the email or send me a link to the What Replay website and I'll check that one out for you. So thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you learned something or you just enjoyed it, then think about hitting that subscribe button because there's a lot more World of Tanks content on this channel. I've been Maxwell, this has been World of Tanks, and I will catch you guys next time.